Talking about training and development. Training and development both are the ones which works on improving the effectiveness of the organization. So it works on individuals, it works on group level, it works on organization level. So if you remember the first session which we had and we learned organizational behavior, I talked to you about that whatever we learn, and not in this session, wherever you go ahead and learn, whatever related to psychology, management, human, anything you are learning or anything you are reading about, which you can see that you can apply into real life, always see through three perspectives. How does it connect to your individually? How does it improves your efficiency? How does it improves your life and well-being? How does it improves people around you as a group level? So when we talk about organization, obviously it changes to team and department, but we can also see with perspective to friends and family also. Okay, that's how you can change into personal to professional and professional to personal. And then comes the organization. So how does it impact whatever we are learning, to the organization or to the society or to the, whole big family kind of scenario. Training and development goes in the same way. Training is majorly connected to the organization. So whenever they have any product launch or when they are trying to work on something related to organizational effectiveness, when it is much more connected to organization comparative to employee, that will be more of a training because it is an immediate changes. Like, okay, for example, let's take, Counsel India launches one another product. Okay. So they go for, like they have recently launched, I told you about, right? These two things, the CLAP and the certification in child psychology. So certification in child psychology has been recently launched. It would have been around 2 or 3 months max when they launched this, product or this brochure for them. So keeping to that course into action, obviously before people pitched in, like before the team pitched in, they would have been provided training. The internal team would have been provided training that this is what we include, this are the, things which would be included in this session. And this is why you should go for certification in child psychology. And what would you earn? What would you learn? And how does it open new opportunities for you? And what would be the growth, a success rate? What would you get from counseling and perspective to that? Everything would be covered. To actually understand that, obviously they would have gone for a training. So it will be on organized instruction. And to make sure that as soon as that training sessions are over for the team, they can go ahead and actually pitch into the people effectively, right? So that's how training happens. But when it comes to development, so for example, let's say development, so I'm a Six Sigma trainer as well, Six Sigma practitioner and trainer. I hope everyone knows what Six Sigma is. Basic idea? Does it, like anyone knows what is Six Sigma? Okay, Six Sigma is majorly connected to productivity and efficiency with perspective to product management and change. So more of an organizational perspective. You would see senior leadership doing these trainings, like, yellow belt and green belt and black belt kind of a thing, the major karate kind of thing. So when we see, people getting belts in karate to make sure that they can fight on with difficult situations in their real life, Six Sigma belt is also put up in a way that whenever you want to increase the organization effectiveness and efficiency, how can you work around that? Okay, so that's where development comes. So for example, let's imagine Counsel India that they want their employee or any of the employee wants to be trained in Six Sigma. Because it is more on employee goals, but it will come back to organization as well. And it will have a longer term effect on organization when employee actually use Six Sigma training with perspective to whether it be sales, marketing, product, or anything with perspective to their own personal life, everything would come up here. So that will be a development because they can use that in their personal life as well as professional life. And it will come as a growth for them, like overall growth, not just for the organization growth or not just for their professional growth, but it will be overall growth. Okay. And it will be chosen by the employee. So any employee who wants to choose, okay, I want to go for this training ahead, and Counsel India supports that, yes, you can go ahead for it. And we will be here to, go ahead and so that you can bring back that knowledge for us and we can work around it. That will be a development because employee choose it. Okay. Let's see more on it. Why do we need training? This is one thing. Okay. I think there's something wrong with this PPT. Okay. Training is expensive. Obviously, you all have spent a good amount of money to be trained on IO psychology. It is expensive, but without training, obviously it is more expensive when you would be learning something from books or when you are actually to not have that idea, because you need to bridge the gap. Training is required. So I hope so that, we are on the third week and you have learned good amount of information from me with keeping not only what we are learning, but also through your observation skills. You had existing skills, knowledge, and attitude when you joined in. And now you have required, by while the end of the session comes, approximately 12th or 13th of March, that's I think is, you will have required skills, knowledge, and attitudes. Till then, you would have learned a lot of things related to IO psychology that you can actually make a layman person who doesn't have any idea about IO psychology passionate about it, that, okay, this is what it looks like. It's very easy to make, theory sounds interesting or explaining theory, but it's very difficult to actually explain someone who doesn't have any idea about the field and make them feel interested. That's what, we aim for. That whenever you go through it, you can actually explain someone who doesn't have any idea about the field, okay, this is how it looks, or any topic of the field, that this is how it looks in a very layman language, in a very general language, okay, without sharing any jargon. Yes. So coming to training more. Planned effort by company to facilitate employees that what are the job related competencies required. So majorly worked on what are the knowledge, what are the skills, what are the behavior which has to be worked on, or any abilities which has to be critical for successful job performance. A basic, which I would say is you would have seen or you would have observed, or it happens like for students who are the students here, for them, I would say also, and for people who are already working, they would already have this idea, okay? That when it comes to anyone is promoted, like for example, when I was promoted from a senior associate to team leader, so it happened around 2014, I believe. Okay, so when I was promoted to senior associate to team leader, the first thing which I was taught was Excel, how to do pivot and everything. Being I had a basic idea of Excel, addition, subtraction kind of scenario, making a table and everything, that I had an idea. Like I was not like completely do not had an idea about it, but how to do pivot, how to put, get on pie charts, how to, when you get pie charts, how to put the same picture on document without distorting the image. So that was taught as a competencies for me. Another, how to send the report to client. How would you interact with client when any, any issue comes up? How would you provide rebuttal to client for anything? So that was competencies which I was taught when I was promoted to team leader. When I was promoted to AM, again, I was taught another competencies. So because to make sure whatever job performance, whatever job role I'm taking up next, I need to be able to have those skills and abilities to, have a to show up successful performance there. When any new people join in, we go for induction training to make them understand everything. Again, that is a training, right? That they are taught, okay, this is how organization is working, this is how things are working, and everything comes up here in that situation. Let's see, where do we actually, what are the grounds where training is provided? 4 basic grounds. First is obviously when new candidates who join the organization, that's when training is provided. Second, when you have to go for refresher training, known as refresher training majorly in organization, where employees really want to refresh or enhance their knowledge. When you talk about refresher training, this training is majorly given to the people where they feel like, we see many people who actually are facing challenge with perspective to work, and they're feeling very demotivated. They feel we do not understand any topic, or we are having challenge to actually understand what is the whole scenario of working culture here. So at that point, a refresher training is provided them for not for like the whole 10-15 days as usual, but a 2-3 days training, so that they get the knowledge again in a very basic terms, and it helps them. Okay, so that will enhance their knowledge also, and plus provide a refresher one. Third, implementation of updates and amendments. So keeping to that, we can say that whenever a new product or any rule or regulation has been launched, to make sure that before it is launched, before update or amendments are made, you provide training to the employee that this is how it will affect your life. Let's say this, Counsel is working, I told you that it's working 10 to 6, okay? So if they change to 9 to 5, okay, just that they change the hour from 9 to 5. Before putting up that, they would have to make sure that they, put this perspective into employees. It should not be a sudden change, because that will affect not only on employees' whole routine, but also would have an effect on the performance. So they can give them that, you start coming up by 9, it will have a reward. So that's how they would be trained on to actually shift from 10 to 9. I hope that doesn't happen. Not giving them any idea about it. All the employees of the internal team will kill me. But let's keep it that they keep it 10 to 5, keeping that they are in Delhi with all the traffic and everything. Okay. So yes, but that's how it works. With any updates and amendments, whenever any updates or any changes, any little changes have been made in with perspective to organization, you need to make sure that you actually provide training. And then comes promotion and career growth. As I gave my example, whenever any career change you're making, any career growth you're making, or when you're promoting someone, you need to provide and you should provide training. And there are many organizations who does it. And we can say that there is somewhere gap as well in this perspective, that some organization does provide promotions, but they are not trained very well. You need to provide us, a very good training in this perspective, I say. Okay, so that's one scenario. Next, any doubts still here before I take you ahead? Just a second. My throat won't start up for sure.
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Sorry. Okay. Today I do not have black coffee. I want to tell you that, as a proud member of the team who are tired that I drink black coffee, I have plain water today. I'm shifting from black coffee to water. I'm turning to a good girl. I need a clap. Good. Thank you, Pankuri. Anshin is also smiling. You'll miss me on Saturday, Sundays after 13th of March. Okay, there was someone girl who used to make us laugh with her silly stories. है ना? करोगे ना miss? ऐसे तो नहीं बोलोगे नहीं अच्छा हुआ खत्म हुआ काउंसलिंग डे का सेशन बहुत बोरिंग होता था. Sorry. See. Okay. So benefits. Why do we need training? Okay, why do we really require training? And that there are highly benefits of training. No matter it is expensive, but it should be provided in the organization. They should invest. First is improving employee performance. Obviously, it improves employee performance when they are being trained well and when the training is provided. It will update employee skills and abilities. The good one is avoiding manual obsolescence. Now, think about this. If you're not training people and you're not upgrading their skills, what would happen? The person who is already at a higher position, he would have, or he or she would have the all power, and you'd like, I have all the power, I have all the knowledge, so whatever I say is right. Right? Because there is no training being done. Everyone has their own set of knowledge, skills, and abilities. They're not getting trained, they're not developing their skills and abilities. The growth will be stuck. But the manager who is putting their position, it will be more like a Hitler kind of scenario. I have all the power, I have all the knowledge, because that's what Hitler did, right? If you talk about any autocratic model, okay, what does manager shows like? Okay, I have all the knowledge. You do not have the information about it, so do not speak about it. That happens in schools also, colleges also, when teachers or educators say that, okay, you do not have the information, let me complete about it. This happens in organization as well. So if you really want to make sure that managers do not get into that tricky space of creating, stuck situation in the organization, training is the one clue. You avoid manager obsolescence. Okay, that they will not be stuck. Growth will be happening. That prepares for promotion and manager succession, because they would be also growing. They will also not be stuck with their promotion growth. They will grow ahead. They would go from AM to manager to senior manager and everything. Same goes here too. With that, when you're trained, when you know that, okay, you're learning something, you're developing your skills, you're not being stuck. That makes you feel somewhere content within also. So that will retain and motivate employees that, okay, organization is investing in me. They're making sure that we are learning. They're making sure that we are growing. It is not just organization is growing, but I am also learning some skill which is helping me with perspective to growth. That is retaining and motivating employees. So training does help in retaining and motivating too, which creates, obviously, if I have a team which is growing ahead, which is making, happy with me, and we are growing as an organization, it will create an efficient and effective organization. We would be bringing through efficiency, and we will be bringing organizational effectiveness too, which improves morale of employee too. Training that, yes, we are all a happy family and we are so happy together, we are growing together and everything. That's how we say in organizations, oh, we are growing, we celebrate every success. I think, how many of you watched Counsel India's 6th birthday anniversary? Anyone who did this? It was up on Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, on Instagram and YouTube, these two places it was up. So yeah. So that did tell, okay, about kind of how Counsel India looks like as an internal team. So if you want to have a sneak peek of how Counsel India internal teams looks like, check them. I think it is on Instagram and I think it is also on their YouTube channel as well. The 6th anniversary kind of. It just happened a few days back. Yeah. Around, I think 21st or 23rd February, if I'm not wrong. Around, in February month only. That's not like very far, but yes, it happened here. So yes. Areas of training. We talk about just skill-based training majorly because that's what we have been talking about, but these are the 5 places. One is company policies and procedures. So whenever any policy and procedures gets changed, whenever any update and amendments happen, obviously, that's not one of the training spaces which happens where you have to provide training. Second is skill-based training. So when you have to working on any skills, like any soft skills or any hard skills, in both spaces, it would come up. Soft skills are majorly with perspective to internal, like, communication, leadership, attitude, values. Hard skills could be something related to software and kind of those things. The third is human relations training, majorly which connects to HR management. So human relations could be something related to empathy as well, like listening skills. When we talk about sensitivity skills, that you have to be very sensitive when you're handling something. We understand that, okay, counselor would be the one who would be working on that, but still, before it goes ahead to psychologist or anyone, as a manager, as a human resource team, you also need to be present at that position, that you are actually able to calm that person down. So when we basically say first aid kind of a thing, that does happen. Then comes problem solving training. So with perspective, like this is where Six Sigma training also comes up into action. Okay, problem solving training is one place where Six Sigma, or pattern supervisory training also where Six Sigma comes up. But these are the places. So another which comes in problem solving training is, it's one of the soft skills, but sometimes related to emotional intelligence. That is another space where you can work on problem solving. Another place could be, there is one word I'm not able to recollect. I'll try to recollect when we take 5 minutes break. Okay, I'll try to recollect that. I do not think so we would need 5 minutes break. I'm running fast today. Am I? You can, tell me that if I'm running fast, because I've completed 7 slides and it's just 7:32 and just have 17 slides today. Good one, Kriti. Yes. Make sure that you pat yourself, okay? This is one thing I've learned in my life. Sometimes there would be no one for you to actually talk to you that what you're going through, what is your, arena, and what are the things which you would really like, or you are working on it or not. There might not be people to appreciate you. Make sure you are appreciating yourself, because it is your first responsibility to appreciate yourself before anyone else does. See? Yes. Okay. The last one, managerial and supervisory training. Whenever anyone is promoted, how to handle team conflicts, how to work on group dynamics, how to engage employees, how to make sure that you are, that you do have that assertive communication, but not dominant one. There's a difference between speaking up as a leader and, being the dominant leader. You need to have that supportive yet assertive communication when it comes to managerial and supervisory training. So that's where it comes into action too. So these are the few areas of these are the major, domains of training, and then it gets divided. Let's see next. Okay, the methods on the job and off the job. When we see in current scenario, obviously it is mixed. On the job and off the job, there is no division, but I wanted to make sure that you understand, okay, that there are 2 types of training. Also, your assignment will be based on this only. So your third assignment for this week, for this class, is that you have to tell me 2 topics which you think as per the corporate world, we should provide training on. Okay. So 2 topics which you think, and why. Why do you think that skill or that topic is required to be trained on? I just need 4-5 lines, not like whole explanation, just 4-5 lines. And with perspective to on the job and off the job training method, what kind of methods you would choose? Okay, you can choose 1 or 2 or as many you like, completely your choice. What kind of management, methods you would choose to provide the training with perspective to topic you chose on both the topics. Okay, so first go for the first topic and then go for the second topic. So let's go ahead with on the job and off the job training. This is where I'll take time. First, I'll go with internship and apprenticeship because this is where the major confusion comes. Internship is what we are doing right now. Okay. Apprenticeship is, I'm not sure Counsel India is doing right now, but it was a place where Counsel India had mental health ambassadors, okay, before. So they had this program called Mental Health Ambassadors where students can join in and they used to give, work for organization, like small work. It's not taking counseling session, but, learning as well as doing work for the organization. So that is apprenticeship. So for example, I shared you that, I shared you the story about my student who is working with me in a research project. She's doing apprenticeship with me. She's not interning with me. She would be called like intern, but, she's an apprenticeship because I do not teach her. I do not train her. Or I do not coach her. What I do is I'll tell her, like, she'll submit me the work that this is what has to be done. And she will, do the work, bring back, I'll provide feedback and I'll give her next work. And we have a schedule that this, by this time we need to complete this work. So like for right now, we are working on a project with perspective to engagement, like not the employee engagement, majorly, individuals engagement with perspective to their lives and well-being. So, and this perceived wellness survey, like holistic health. So that's what we are working on. So she is doing that research project with perspective to gathering review of literatures and everything. So the apprenticeship is one place. Okay. Then comes job rotation. Now we can come to that place. Job rotation, I think we talked about it. If you remember that bank thing, which I shared. I think I shared. नहीं? एक तो मैं भूल जाती हूँ मैंने शेयर किया भी है कि नहीं, but I believe I shared, okay, job rotation का when we were talking about some topic. This job analysis. I asked you that have you gone to a bank and have seen that person who is a bank teller? I believe, and this is where I talked about it. I'm completely forgetting, but I will ask you that question again. Okay, I hope everyone has gone to a bank and would have seen this difference. Yes.
Yeah, I think we have done that. We
Yes.
went to the banking experience and job rotation.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I remember. कि मैंने बात तो की है इस class में.
Right. So the people are changed, like the jobs are changed. The people sitting for accounting, maybe they are told to go on customer help desk or something like that, right?
Yes. Thank you, Deepti, for putting that up. Now that makes me feel कि अच्छा मैं भूलती नहीं
I'm
हूँ.
so sorry I haven't been able to give input. I'm driving. I'll be home in another 2 minutes. That's it. Then I'll be able to give input.
Please drive safe, Deepti. Please drive safe.
Yeah,
Please
and there's
be
someone else sitting. My mother is sitting along, so don't worry. I'm
Yeah.
not all by myself.
Okay. No issues.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. So job rotation, as Deepti just said, it is again, for example, when you go to a bank and you are submitting money, like you are debiting or crediting the money, at that point of that person was sitting there. Okay. I have this experience. I've gone to HDFC, I've gone to Access, I've gone to SBI. These are the major organizations. I've gone to, these are the 3 major ones. Okay. And ICICI. 4. Yeah. The bank teller, I have a very good habit or bad habit. I do not know about it. Some people say it's a good one. Some people say that it's too much. One is saying sorry and thank you. I have been being pulled up by people that you should not say so much sorry and thank you. But I have that habit that, okay, if someone is helping me out, it will automatically, come out that thank you essay. And the second thing which I've been working on that, so job rotation, what happens is I would go to the bank, I would debit or credit the money, and once the work is done, I'll say thank you. That person never replies. I would smile and say thank you. And the second person, okay. the person who is sitting on for accounts or customer service, like accounts, or want to open a new account, or you would have to work anything related to account, loan लेना हो आपको, या आपको अपना loan check कराना हो, या आपको कोई information चाहिए हो, anything related there, वो आपसे से वो जो काम बोला आपने उसके सिवा आपसे पूरी घर की कहानी भी जान लेंगे. मतलब आप गए थे अपना अकाउंट ओपन के बारे में कुछ पता करने कि लोन क्लियर हो जाएगा कि नहीं, उन्होंने आपको लोन से साथ साथ आपके पास क्या क्या इंश्योरेंसेज है, आपके पास गाड़ी कितनी है, आपके कितने लोन और किसी और अकाउंट में चल रहा है क्या, पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन उनका बस ले तो घर वाले का पूरी कहानी में पता चल जाए उन्हें. इतने सवाल पूछे और साथ में आपको कोल्ड ड्रिंक समोसे सब ऑफर भी हो जाएगा. ट्रस्ट मी, इट हैज हैपेंड विथ मी, आई एम नॉट लाइंग. झूठ बिल्कुल नहीं बोल रही मैं, बिल्कुल आई एम नॉट मेकिंग अप द स्टोरी, इट हैज हैपेंड विथ मी. आई गॉट कोल्ड ड्रिंक, आई वाज लाइक आई डू नॉट वांट टू, आई डू नॉट लाइक सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स. And I'm not talking about any small organization. This has happened with me with HDFC and Axis, both of them. I have my current account with Axis and I have my savings account, like salary account with HDFC. दोनों के साथ मेरे साथ ये हो चुका है. जब मैं account HDFC का तो I went for actually, okay, HDFC had a very beautiful incident. Job rotation is a perfect example. Okay, so what happened? I had to credit money. So I had cash and I had to credit that amount. I hope I'm saying the right thing, debit and credit, because I sometimes mix it up. Okay, you understand. I had to put the money into the account. Okay. Now keeping that, so I saw कि मैं गाड़ी से पेन लाना भूल गई. तो मैंने कहा यार यहाँ पे पेन भी नहीं है. यूजुअली वो रखते ना पेन बांध के रस्सी से, हर बैंक वाले एक गंदा सा 3 रुपए वाला पेन होता है. पता नहीं इतने बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थोड़ा महंगा पेन है, मैं 3 रुपए वाला पेन रखी है वो. ठीक है. और इसके बाद मैं गई तो वो पेन भी नहीं था. So I started looking here and there. Okay. So one guy was sitting in the accounts wala, not the teller. Accounts wala was like, what? You know, we just crossed eyes and I was like, I need pen. He's like, okay, you can come here and sit. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है. तो मैंने उनसे पेन लिया. कहते ओके मैम आपके पास इंश्योरेंस है? मैंने कहा सर हाँ कार का इंश्योरेंस तो है. मैम आपके पास मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस है? मैंने कहा सर यस मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस है, बजाज मैं फॉर्म भर रही हूँ. ठीक है, बजाज फाइनेंस ले रखा है. आपके पास ये अपना अकाउंट है कि कौन सा अकाउंट है? मैंने कहा सर सैलरी अकाउंट है मेरा ये. उसने सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन. और कहाँ रहते हो आप? नोएडा रहते हो या दिल्ली रहते हो? मैंने कहा सर दिल्ली रहती हूँ मैं, यही रहती हूँ बगल में, बगल वाला ही अपार्टमेंट मेरा है, पैदल चल के आई हुई. इतनी देर में ये सारी कहानी होंगी. मैं बैंक टेलर के पास गई, मैंने वो सबमिट किया, उन्होंने लिया. उन्होंने बोला कि आपका अकाउंट दे चेक बिकॉज HDFC यू नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट इट्स योर अकाउंट. मैंने कहा यस. एंड देन ही पुट इट अप एंड आई वाज लाइक थैंक यू सो मच सर. मैंने उनसे पूछा कि कितने बजे तक, उन्होंने रिप्लाई तक नहीं दिया. तब तक पीछे वाले इंसान की लाइन आ गई थी. दिस इज जॉब रोटेशन. द पर्सन जिससे आपको बात करने की कोई इच्छा थी नहीं, उसने आपसे पूरी कहानी जान ली सिर्फ इसलिए कि उन्होंने आपको पेन दिया था. और जब आप काम करने गए थे वो हमसे बात ही नहीं करते. Why are they so serious? That's what I really want to say them. Sometimes कि मैं अपने साथ एक वो play card लेके जाऊँ. Why so serious? Next time. Good idea. Okay. Coming to the third one, committee assignments. Okay. Committee assignments is majorly yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm just interpreting like this. I didn't understand this job rotation point. Like,
so Sure. So job rotation is majorly when tellers, like, tellers are moved from positions to this. Account openers and account openers have moved to tellers.
You mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, or if I've taken the message wrong. You mean that people who can be rotated to one position to another position who are suitable for that role?
Yes.
Do you mean that way it has to be rotated in the organization?
Yeah, it has to be rotated to make sure that they are coming out of the board done.
So you mean if I work as an organization industrial psychologist, I need to make sure that my organization I'm working as a psychologist over there to make sure that the people who have a basic major skills and can take each other's position should be rotated in the right manner, in the right time manner, right? Do you mean that?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting that right. And you haven't changed your name. Maybe attendance. I would suggest you to.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you ask me something?
Yeah, your name is an iPhone written, so that will have an
I'm so
effect.
sorry. This is my first class. I'm joining in between. And I'm Riddhi, by the way. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome. Thank you. Okay. Coming to the committee assignments. So let's take this example. March. Okay, usually March is the when we know when the financial year ends. So we take it 31st March is a majorly, April to March kind of a thing. Or we can say this. We just have Valentine week went. Let's go ahead with that. Okay, we just had a Valentine week went. And what we can talk about is that while Valentine week was ongoing on a process and we really want to work on, let's say that we are, as a committee, we get a work. We are 10 people right here. So keeping 10 people right here, we get a work from Counsel India that you need to come with ideas and you need to influence people with perspective to how does professional relationships affect. Okay, being it's a Valentine, but how does professional relationships, professional relationship between subordinates, between peer colleagues and senior management affects each other, and you need to work on a research related to that and work on some team bonding exercises. So as a committee of 10 people working for an organization, we would come with that how to first check on that what kind of relationship they share, what kind of communication they share. Then comes to second, how would we actually, what kind of exercises or games or sessions which we can do, which not only makes it interesting, but also make sure that we, cover up the part of working on professional relationships and building that beautifully. So that would be one of the committee assignments. Another example which I can come up with, which you would have seen in your real life, would be flying squad in the board exams or, college exams, that people would come in like 4 or 5 people checking on that, are you cheating or not? Kind of scenario. Does everyone remembers that? I'm sure you would have observed that flying squad experience.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So that is a committee assignment. Okay, people, that whole group who gets in the flying squad is a committee, and that assignment is to make sure that there is no unfair means are using to be, by students to actually clear the examination. So that is committee assignment. Coaching is a place.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Like, how is it on the job training? Like, I mean, that's a method of training.
A method of the training because it happens while you're in the organization.
Okay.
On the job and off the job, the difference is on the job actually happens within the organization. You do not move out of the space. Off the job is when you're taken to somewhere else, out of the place. That's the difference. That's it.
Fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Talking about coaching, coaching and mentoring is similar, and it majorly has a connect when any peer, any subordinates want to be trained by something. So, for example, let's say that let's see this as an example that, okay, so that I am an IO psychologist and I have my double degree. I have my master's in IO psychology. Also, I have my MBHR, okay, both the spaces to make sure that I understood that what is it all about, kind of those things. So keeping that into context, if anyone from internal team, okay, from Counsel India is also doing their MBAs and they would want some learning procedures with perspective of that, and they call me within the organization that, 𝐊𝐞𝐲 ma'am, we really need your help. And we want people within the organization, like 1 or 2 people, or 1 people from the person whom you would coach on respective to manager skills or supervisory skills, or they would be learning from you to be trained just by you. So the 1:1 ratio. Okay. The coaching and mentoring always happen 1:1 ratio. So that would be coaching. That I would be training them on with perspective to whatever they are learning. I'm a PhD scholar. So keeping I'm a PhD scholar, again, the guide I have, okay, because it is 1:1, being she will have more students, but the connection I have with her, she's my coach. Okay, so that's how coaching also happened. The difference between apprenticeship and coaching here, because there you might get confused. Apprenticeship is majorly when you are actually, giving the work to the person. Okay, with coaching, it would be more of perspective to educational purposes. Apprenticeship more of the professional work. So that's how the difference would come in with, you would be working without stipend or some stipend, but with coaching, you would be more on the learning procedures, more on educational skills perspective, not as working perspective. That is a very slight difference between apprenticeship and coaching. Okay. Now comes temporary promotions. Temporary promotion is majorly which you can see when, like when you are promoted for some work, like when you are asked by your manager that, can you do this work for today, or can you do the floor support for today, or can you do this work as which is not in your role, it is one senior role above you, and you're trained on it, and you're worked on it. Like being a manager for a day or being a manager for a half day or being on a floor support for a day could be temporary promotion. A good example could be here is movie Nayak. I hope everyone has seen it. One Day CM.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, that is a similar as temporary promotion. It is very common in organizations. Majorly, temporary promotions are also done to understand that if we go for promoting this employee, will they be able to handle the workload and whole stress or not? Because, it is not about having skills. It's also about having that space, like having that mental and emotional capability. That are you ready for it? That are you ready for actually taking that stress? Are you actually ready for taking the work pressure of the team or not? So they want to check on. So that's how they work on temporary promotion. Also making them understand and, getting an idea that are they ready for the promotion or not. So usually you will see 3 or 4 people when it comes to organization where managers would be giving them some little work, much more than what their TDR is, what their task, duties, and responsibilities are, some little extra work which connects to a promotion space. So that is all on the job trainings. Okay. Any doubts with on the job trainings before I go to off the job? Okay. Talking about off the job trainings, as I shared, as Deepti just asked. So off the job majorly was used to kept it as going out of the offices when organization used to arrange workshops or seminars and kind of those things with perspective to at any other place at different auditoriums or different seminar halls and kind of those things, but outside of the organization, not within the organization. So that's why they were off the job training methods. Okay. Keeping to organizing special curriculum and classes with conferences, seminars, I have mixed them up now because right now everything is mixed. There is no on the job, there is no off the job. Everything is mixed as of now. Case study method, when I share you any story and I ask you what do you understand by it or how can we help around it, and when we put a discussion, that is a case study method, okay? Majorly. So you get to know about some part of the whole idea that, okay, this is how things have been working. And I ask you a question and then we discuss on it that what should be done, like asking why, when, how, when. That is a case study method. The second is role-playing method. Talking about role-playing method, let's say this example, if we do a role play about that, how would we actually retain employee? So you change to manager and I change to your employee and I'm looking to leave the organization, you would have to retain. So when we do this, thing as a role play, that will have an action. One role play which I used to do before, but with batches, but this time I didn't do it. What I would do is I would divide people into two groups, but in Counsel it is little difficult. So that's how I stopped. I think I did it with the first group. Okay, I made them sit here and do that. So what I did is, you remember that 5 models which we worked on. So if there are 10 people, I would divide them into two group, and they have to, create a script, and they have to role play me that, okay, what model they are working on. I'll not be here in the screen. They can discuss everything to each other while in the Zoom call, and I would have to guess. So it would be a fun exercise while they learn about the model in a role playing kind of thing with employee and supervisor and subordinate relationship, making me understand that what model are they trying to role play without telling that what model are they working on. So that's how it would happen as role-playing method. Lecture method is we are doing right now, lecture and audio visual, because you can listen to me, you can see me, you can see the PPT, and I'm providing lecture. Sad life, but yeah, that's some of the lectures, yes. If you're getting bored, it is a lecture or it is a training. Talking about incident analysis, we would be doing incident analysis on when we have a session on burnout, because that's where I use incident analysis method. But when I share you, okay, this whole scenario of job rotation, that is again an incident analysis when we actually are seeing, okay, whenever I share you an example related to a story, or whenever I share you an example of a case study of my client, okay, that are all instant analysis. So you choose an instant. The difference between case study and instant analysis majorly is, like for example, I would say, that how would you, case study would be that you would have a story and I will ask you that what should we do there. When it comes to instant analysis, I would ask you from your own life. Like for example, how do you handle or how do you manage your anger when you're working with a lot of people? So keeping to that into perspective, when we discuss on that incident, that how do you manage your anger in a group or in a team, and we discuss and we work around it, it will be more of instant analysis, okay? Or what should have been done. One instant analysis could be, what have you observed with perspective to social loafing? Is there anyone who knows the word social loafing? Shall I explain?
I don't know. No.
Okay. So social loafing is majorly what happens like when people are working in a group. So rather than taking up the workload and dividing it up, it goes into one person's hand completely. So everyone is like, okay, we are a team, but you work and complete it up, kind of thing. And people take a relaxed work. That happens a lot when it comes to team, right? And they're like, okay, I do not want to work that. पहला वाला बंदा कर लेगा, वो कर लेगी, ये कर लेगा, वो सारा workload एक इंसान पे आ जाता है. So how would you make sure that you do not fall into the trap of social loafing when you are very enthusiastic about your work? Because if you're enthusiastic about your work, there is a high chance you might get into social loafing. Very common in corporate sectors. And because, yeah.
What is the word social?
Loafing. Bread loaf hota hai na? Loaf.
Loafing. Okay.
Loafing.
So is it more like those, we did some behavioral and situational questions. So it's more like a situational thing?
Yes. Situational thing, yes. Certain. Okay. Coming back to simulation. So third one, organizing conferences and seminars are again with perspective to whatever topics the organization wants to go ahead, and they go for this mindfulness, art of living. That's a new trend. Simulation and vestibule training are very similar. Okay, simulation is more of highly skilled and experienced thing. Vestibule is majorly for semi-skilled trainers, not like, okay, that's one difference. Simulation, I'm sure you would have watched this 3D and 5D movies. So that's how simulation also works, majorly in aeronautical industries, Navy industries, armed forces. So what they do is they actually arrange a place, because obviously when we talk about aeronautical or Navy industry, they cannot give you the plane or the whole ship or cruise to ride and fly. You would need that you actually learn through a different way. So they actually arrange a space where they have designed it up that you can actually wear that simulation, that VR, virtual reality, and you feel that, okay, actually you are flying a plane, or you're actually, taking a cruise or ship on step, and you learn through that. That is how the simulation works. So whenever a new amendment happens, whenever anyone joins, whenever any changes happen, or whenever they have to fly a different flight or different plane or different kind of any new thing comes up, simulation is a way, that's how they work on. And because aeronautical industry majorly training simulation hoti hai, and it happens at a different place altogether, that's why it is a off-the-job training. Okay, it doesn't come on the job, because it will not happen within the space. They have a completely different whole space. Like if you see, for defense also, they have this whole different space in Dehradun, the Defense Academy. Same goes for any, it's like forces have a complete academy to actually get people trained on. Same goes for every, aeronautical industry or the merchant navy industry also. They have a complete camp base for going through the training. That's why it is off the job. Talking about the vestibule training. So I just want to see that, are you really like this is, yes, but yes.
Hi. I just wanted to ask you about the stimulation. You've given the example of one industry. Can it be, if I take an example of any other industry, like let's not take an example of what you said, then how we can use the stimulation over there?
So simulation is majorly with aeronautical and navy, because
like for example, if I'm on the desk job industry, like for example, if I'm working with people as a psychologist on a desk job, so how can I use this to improve their, skills or something, or the new people are coming, then how can I use this one?
You can use it with movie analysis. Simulating, okay. Working them, making them understand through movie analysis. But understand that not all the training methods would be working in not every sector.
So this one would, I mean, I can't, I'm unable to set an example in my head right now that if I am in a desk job industry, there can I use it or I cannot? I don't think so. I can.
Talking about desk job industry, no. The job industry, I would not know. It is majorly connected with the organizations, with the sectors where you have to use simulation. There is no other choices available. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes. Okay. Coming to vestibule training, another way which comes with semi-skilled. So here, obviously, it has a little difference from simulations. How many of you have observed, like when you have given your phone or laptop or any gadget to anyone to get it repaired, how many of you have observed that how are they actually working on it? Anyone? Yes.
I've done that.
Done that? That is the way people learn through vestibule training. So where they observe that how things are working on, how they actually use that, little pointers. I'm not able to get that again. I'm not able to get the name of that tool, which has that little pointers it has, and you actually are working on that silicon chip and everything to make sure that it gets. And then how do you actually, paste it back, changing the screens or, changing the speakers, and being the iPhone user, it has a very thin strip to how to make sure that you do not cut the thin strip. That's like a very interesting spaces. But that's how the vestibule training works also. Again, that's when one place with perspective to mechanical, electrical spaces where you actually do that vestibule training. Another space when we talk about vestibule training, when you're working on something as statistical methods and, research analysis. That's also vestibule training shows up, okay, where people observe that how are you learning through. Like I'm training my students with perspective of review of literature on vestibule training. So they observe, understand their own thing rather than me teaching them that how to write review of literatures. So that's another space, okay, to which you can learn. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, management games. How many have played Monopoly?
Yeah, I've played Monopoly. That's right.
Yes. So Monopoly, if I arrange with perspective to Counsel India, okay, it can be arranged in a way. Counsel India, I'm not giving you that idea. I'm not doing that for you, okay? Until we'll see about it. But to make anyone understand that how does organization work or make them understand on any skills and anything, management games are the best. That's one place where I say that you can put it anywhere and everywhere, okay? Why management games are on off-the-job training rather than on-the-job training methods? Because when these training methods were devised and designed, they would put up that people would be taken out for training sessions, taken out for somewhere for an adventure and everything, and there they would play on management games, okay? Like anything could be like treasure hunts, which would happen and which would make you learn, not only make you feel relaxed, but also make you feel learn about something. So Monopoly is one of the spaces where you can actually arrange that what are the things which organization actually believes in, how does that work, and what are the little traps which can happen, which can make you fall off the track. So what you should avoid, what should you actually do, and what is the actual right path. So how to engage and disengage, keeping, avoidance and how to engage with the work. That's how you can play management. One of the ways if we complete our topic today by 8:20, 20 minutes. Okay, if you complete a topic by 8:20, 25, I'll play a game with you, which is very interesting one. I haven't played any game with you, right? Naina, I'll play a very interesting game. Yes, that is my favorite game when it comes to management games. Okay, I use this game for ice-breaking session. I've used this game with perspective to product learning. I've used this game for feedback, review from employees. Okay, I've used this game for positive well-being, and I've always got a very, 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 very positive response to this game. It's a very sweet, simple game, makes it fun and challenging, but there are two ways why people have responded. One is it is very interesting and challenging. Second, it makes you think a lot. Because now I've learned. क्योंकि लोगों को पता है उस गेम को लेके ये हो जाता है कि अच्छा ये तो चेहरा ऐसा है कि बहुत एक्सप्रेसिव है तो हम पकड़ लेंगे और हमें आंसर जल्दी पता चल जाएगा एंड देन वो हार जाते हैं क्योंकि मैं सीख गई हूँ कि मैं एक्सप्रेसिव हूँ तो मैं और एक्सप्रेशन दिखाती हूँ और मैंने वो कंफ्यूज कर देती हूँ. Okay, do not get confused. Note, star, terms and conditions applied. Then comes programmed instructions. Majorly, when we see programmed instructions are for when you have a machinery applied up. So you're taken to a new whenever a new machine comes up, whenever new software or hardware has been added in the organization or added in industry, you actually provide instructions in a programmed way that this is how things up looks like. A good one could be, as I shared, just before, when we started with the session, that Counsel India has recently launched certificate course in child psychology. Okay, so talking about off-the-job training, rather than so how they can actually work on it as making programmed instructions there, that they take them out for a seminar or something, or they actually arrange a session with the psychologist. That the first session which we talk about induction training. Like when I started with you, I shared you that what kind of what am I as a person, what kind of sessions it would look like, and if any day what would happen, what I gave you a very good overview on the first day. It started with induction, that how does Counsel India works. I think who took the session? Rushil sir took the session. The first 15-20 minutes, if you remember, Rushil sir took the session that this is how the app works, this is how you need to make sure that you submit the assignments and your attendance would be marked in first 10 minutes and kind of those things. So that was one scenario. And again, then I took it over. I shared you that, okay, I am a psychologist and this and that, and this is how we'll be taking ahead of the subject. And we'll be there till 9 o'clock because I talk a lot. So making you understand that how the sessions will look like and everything. So putting them there. Now, then they can go ahead that, okay, this training is provided. And then they would say, and this is just for Counsel India team for the certificate course. So they can provide program instructions in a way that, okay, we are having this session and we would be covering this topics, and this is how we'll be going ahead. Being this whole perspective is not for them. They would have to pitch in for anyone else. So I'm talking with the sales team of Counsel India, that if they are sales and marketing team of the Counsel India, that they can be using program instruction to train their sales and marketing team on the courses to actually work around it. Okay, another program instructions comes up for coders. So whenever they're working on any new technology, program instruction is one of the ways, they are provided training. So they would be made to actually learn through that, okay, this is how it works. And then they apply the skills. Another way which we can talk about when I was sharing you the assignment of job analysis, that we did the topic job analysis and then I gave you the worksheet. Remember? So with the worksheet, when I asked you that, okay, when you're going for any job analysis, you have to ask this questions. If I would be training you in that just worksheet, not explaining what job analysis is, and we would be doing that step-by-step thing, it would again change to programmed instructions. Talking about how to write responsibilities and finding day-to-day, activities, then what are their preferred or required credentials, everything would come up. That would also come in programmed instructions. Any doubts with any of the job methods before I take you ahead? Can anyone read me the next slide? Voice it out for me. I'll put it in this slideshow because I know you'll not be able to read like this, but I want to know, can anyone read this for me?
Ma'am, it's not clear print-wise.
Is it now?
Can I read it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So training versus development. Training is mostly short-term with a concrete goal. Development is a long-term activity with goals that are open-ended and ongoing. Training focuses on the role. Development focuses on the person. Training aims at the specific job or role requirement. Development is more conceptual and focuses on overall progression of the individuals. Training revolves around immediate or present need. Development activities are futuristic. Training enhances the knowledge or skills of a particular job or role. Development focuses on career building and progression. Training programs are group focused, where more than one individual participates in an organized group events, such as workshops, classes, or seminars, etc. Development activities are tended to be more of a personalized experience, which is created based on the individual's development plan. Organization takes the responsibility of training. Development is a self-assessment procedure where individuals are held responsible for creating and owning their development plan and activities. That's all.
Thank you, Disha, for voicing it out for me. It means a lot.
You're welcome.
Let's go to development now. PPT, please work. My PPT sometimes have mood swings. Okay, so this is where we come to. Employee development is obviously a joint initiative. As I shared, when it comes to development, it will always have both professional and personal growth. Okay, it will be a holistic growth altogether. So where employees are also working on upgrading their existing skills and knowledge, and it's a joint initiative. Okay, joint initiative between employee as well as organization. But employee development goes a long way more than training because there is some of an interest. Because I would want, if I want to learn something, so I would be more, enthusiastic about it. Yes, that I would be like, okay, yes, I want to learn on this. And I would be like, okay, this would, actually improve my skills with perspective in the organization as well. And I'll be, having one additional skill. Like one thing which I want to learn is visual thinking, like with perspective to presentations. That's what I'm learning. I'm a part of it. But how to actually put, like rather than using this PPTs and everything, I would want that how can I just draw caricatures or draw just stick images to actually explain this thing. And that would make it such an interesting way because now Amity has gone offline, so I do not want to write every word to them on whiteboard. Rather than I want to make, drawings and everything to actually make them understand that how does organization works or how does any emotional well-being looks like, or how does any mental health disorders looks like, showing through symptoms to pictures because that, you get capture it very fast because it looks interesting. So that's what I'm learning. Now, when I'm learning that, it will not only sharpen my skills as a trainer, but it will also upgrade my existing knowledge and abilities. It will sharpen that. It will give me an edge. And plus, it will make me happy. That, okay, yes, I've learned something new, which really connects to me. So that's obviously professional growth as well as personal growth altogether. Now let's see how does you work on designing a systematic approach to training and development. So we have this 5 factors which we go ahead. We'll be going with one by one. Okay, so as you see that one is highlighted as orange and another are blue. As we go down, the ones which are highlighted will be showed up. Okay, so we start with establishing training requirements first. We check on 2 organizational variables and environmental variables. When we talk about organizational variables, we check on what are the compliance requirements. So compliance requirements is majorly checking on the business requirements. First thing, that what kind of organization is looking for, or what the senior management is looking for, and how to connect with organizations, business policies and procedures. What are their requirements with perspective to training? Okay, that's the first thing which we check on. Second is position requirements. So compliance requirements would also have a connect with that, are they okay with off-the-job training methods, or they want to go for on-the-job only and want to make sure that people complete their workload as well as are trained on. Kind of those things can come up. Then comes position requirements. What is the required and elective? So for example, if we are training any, positions as per AM, so anyone who is being promoted in AM, or we're providing induction training to people who have just joined in a group as, as senior associates kind of a thing. So they would require technical and behavioral skills that would work on. And there could be some elective which you as a trainer provide, as a trainer or, training organization provider, you would put up as elective. Okay, these are the required things. These are some elective you can choose from. And accordingly, we would work out in designing. Okay, that whole training or development module. Then you check on environmental variables because you have to do 2 things. One is workforce planning. Workforce planning is majorly that if I have 10 people in my team, I cannot send all the 10 people to do the training because I need to manage the workload as well. We cannot keep, organization closed. It has to still work. So what I would do is I would divide people. Okay, right now 5 people would be working 1.5 times. While 5 people are on the training. Once these 5 people are done with the training, once they come back, they would take up the space of doing 1.5 times. And, another 5 can go ahead. So that my work also doesn't suffer and my team gets trained as well. So that's how you check on workforce planning. That how does the whole workload as well as the training can work together. Then comes environmental scanning too. Environmental scanning is majorly done when you are actually reassessing, working on any policies and procedures. So majorly how much the employees are ready for that training. Let's take this example that if we go for designing a training module of work-life balance for corporates. Okay, that I go ahead with counseling. I'm like, okay, let's design work-life balance or corporate training. We work around it. We design sub-modules, subtopics. How would we go ahead about it? Everything is done. We give this approach to an organization. Now, environmental scanning and workforce planning would be done, that how many people are available for that training and how many people are really interested in that work-life balance. Are they really interested in learning that after 2 years of COVID, have they already have got the resources and they're like, hum already seek chuke hain, or they really want to learn on it? Yes, we want to know that how to work on a work-life balance and what are the skills and resources which can actually help us, what are the pointers which can help us. So that will give us an idea that, okay, we need people on training on this, or there has to be something changed, because first thing is you have to establish training requirements only before you take it ahead. So this is where half of the work is majorly done. Okay, major part of the work is done. Then only it goes for determining training needs and selecting everything. But major part happens of here when it comes to designing any training or development module. Okay. Next, which comes is determining training needs. So when you've done the workforce planning, you've also done the environmental scanning. Yes, Bacha?
Yeah, hi. Could you please explain me once again this workforce planning? I didn't understand that.
Sure. So we have 10 people right now in our group. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So my voice is echoing your side.
Is that? I'm so sorry. I'm going to put myself in mute and I'm listening to you. Thank you.
Yes. Well. Okay. So talking about workforce planning, we are 10 in the people. So I'm your boss, and other than me, you're 9. Okay. So what we do is I cannot, because we're working on a project, we're working in an organization, I cannot put each one of you into training, because how would I handle my work then? Work has to move along with the training. So what would I do is I would give 4 people or 5 people with me who would be working. So they would be working with 1.5 workload. So right now, if they were working as 1, they would have to make sure they work on 1.5 to cover up the pattern for other 4. So first 4 people would go, they would be trained on, and then I would bring them back. So that's how organization also works. So you would see that either their training, would be happening on Saturdays and Sundays when they're Monday to Friday working, or the trainings would be happening like 9 to 4 working, and they have to complete their major workload, and then 4 to 6 they would be getting trained on. So that's how workforce planning works, to make sure that is the people available or not. Yes. Thank you. That gives me idea.
Okay,
that
I'm sorry.
Yes,
I have this. I did not get the environmental scanning thing. Like, are we trying to see? Is there a need for this training or not? Is this what we're trying to say?
Yes, that are people prepared to learn it or not?
So doesn't that fall under like training need analysis and all?
Training need analysis majorly seeing the prior learning competence and what should we go ahead. First, the people should be prepared, because see, with training, one thing which goes ahead is sometimes organizations are going so back-to-back trainings, okay, that employees have already been completely flustered that, okay, we do not need any more trainings. So we want to have that environmental scanning too, that are they ready for something learning new, or they need some break that we do not want to learn. Okay. We are already be done with that. So first, let's complete our workload.
Fine. I get it now.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Determining training needs. First is TNA. So we recognize what is the prior learning, what is its current competence. And that's how we can make, there another way of working that how would we design and review the training material. And then comes assessment methods, because with training need analysis, you have to assess them that how much is their current competence, how much is prior learning. So what we did in job analysis, if you remember the methodology of job analysis, same goes for TNA too. So when we talk about interview, when we talk about questionnaire, that's how we design. That's how the job analysis is very much required when you're designing training methods or going for training and development, because from there only we get this. Okay, TNA is done at that point of time only. So whether you talk about individual interview, or when you're observing them, when you're checking with the supervisor, when you're making them diary writing, everything and anything comes here. Okay, these are the assessment methods. Then you work on prioritizing, informing, and approval. So first thing you check on cost per benefit. Training is expensive. Every organization says that, and as a trainer, I believe that too. The training is, one expensive thing, but it is one thing which one should invest on, because it brings not only benefits with perspective to professional growth, but also personal growth, no matter whatever you're investing on. Okay. Again, the second thing is whatever organizations is working on, it has to be aligned to business strategy. It should bring ROI. It should have a return on investment. If I am making you study something and you are like, okay, it doesn't connect to me, obviously you will not feel that, okay, whatever you invested on, it is getting returned to you. So everything has to be aligned to business strategy. Every training module, every training topic has to be chosen in that way. Plus, every organization wants a quick win. Like as soon as the work is completed, I need one to have a quick win. Okay, that yes, like कोई जादू की छड़ी चल रहा है कि जैसे ही मैं communication skill पे, like for example, let's imagine this. I told you I'm learning on visual thinking, like I'm taking training on visual thinking. So if I take this an opportunity that, okay, as soon as I complete that training thing, I would be able to apply that skill completely on perspective to presentation. थोड़ा time लगेगा मुझे practice करने में, but that is how you need to prioritize, inform and approval. That once I'm done with visual thinking whole training module for me, first, whatever I am putting up as a cost, it will bring benefit because it will sharpen my skills as a person. Second, it is aligned to my business strategy because being an IU psychologist and providing presentations on perspective to management or, immediately the product management or the HR. So it aligns to my business strategy too. And plus it will bring me quick win because it will make my whole story interesting. Being a storyteller, yes, it will bring me quick win too. So that's how it works in organizations too. Whatever you're providing to them as a product or service, as a training or on development module, being an IU psychologist or being a trainer or coach, you have to make sure that it aligns to these three things. What is the cost of you? How would it bring benefit? How does it aligns to their business strategy and what kind of quick wins it will provide? No matter you believe it or not, you would have to provide there. Okay.